You're watching the Business Channel, creating business class programs. With me now is Hayden Young, who is Chief Executive of the energy efficiency consultancy Gaia. Welcome.
Hello. Good morning.
Now, can you tell me first of all, what does Gaia do?
Gaia is an energy efficiency business. We enable companies to achieve their sustainability goals through either delivering or supporting the customer in running their sustainability agenda.
So what are the benefits of going low carbon?
Well, as well as being green and looking good and improving your brand, there are primarily two key areas that companies can focus on to improve their sustainability and to improve their organisation. First of all is by being more sustainable, you can reduce your costs and improve your bottom line. Clearly, through managing your energy costs, managing your raw material costs, it'll save you money. The second is you can build businesses and you can build new opportunities off the back of that business. So for example, if I was a retailing organisation and I was collecting all of my waste and packaging materials, I could use that, collect all my, bail that up and sell it and have a new business off the back of my company that's using that recycling material.
So is renewable energy the only solution?
Renewable energy is only part of the solution. It's a crucial part, but not the only part. Before we get to renewable energy, we have to really engage our businesses in how to reduce energy first. I strongly believe that investments that I would make renewable will only be done when the premises that I'm investing in has already demonstrated they can reduce it and use their energy as most effectively as possible. The benefit for me being the return on investment is faster because obviously they're already more efficient. But equally, I don't find it suitable to put renewable on a roof of a building that's badly managed. So you manage the people first, you drive the energy efficiency second, and you put the renewable in third. So renewable is critical. It has to be part of our energy mix, but it has to be done in conjunction with many other activities too.
Now, you have this model which is called the Gaia Path. How does that work?
Well, for businesses to become sustainable, there's certain sections they have to go through and in the right order. And if you get it in the wrong order, you can invest unwisely. So for example, the first stage we refer to as manage, where a company can use all its current resources in place to drive as much efficiency as they can without putting in more investments. Such as you've got your staff, you've got energy data that's commonly provided by your energy firm. And by using this information very constructively at the start, you can drive some initial savings without investments. The second is by mitigating, by starting to invest in energy efficiency technologies, such as voltage optimizing or lighting infrastructures. And it's best to do that after you've got all the staff engaged on the activity of your current managed section. The third is generate, where you start to generate energy through renewable technologies or whatever means suitable for your business. The fourth being whereby you look at resourcing. How can you collect or reduce carbon from your supply chain? And the fifth being offsetting. How you can therefore, the energy you've still got in your business or the carbon you're still consuming, you can offset for other means. Now we find if businesses get it in the right order, it delivers the best return. But if you get in the wrong order, you could then not achieve the savings you otherwise expect.
Do you give any examples of who your clients are and how they take to this model?
Well, our clients are quite broad, but generally our clients are large firms such as in the retail industry, food, aerospace and the public sector, key four sectors for us. They all take to it in a slightly different way. For those in the manufacturing elements, clearly their consumption is primarily in large sites with hefty consumption of process management. However, the engagement for them, the challenge for them, is that they have many shift patterns that change and a very different staff portfolio. People, some working shorter hours, some working in office hours. It's quite an interesting mix. The retail is very different, where you've got Saturday staff, but also a very disparate population. Some of our customers have over 2,000 sites, so they're having to manage behaviours and engagement across many different areas. For the public sector, they always have a real keen and willingness to look at energy efficiency and saving energy. But the challenge for them is how, of an implication, is the lack of saving for them. For a business, there's a profit and loss. The public sector, that isn't the case.
So what are the challenges or barriers in businesses becoming low carbon?
Okay, there's a particular challenge for businesses that's often ignored, and that is tackling inherent myths. Now, myths are reasons why businesses won't actually save, And a myth is a fear that by making a change will have an impact on the company's profitability. So for example, that could be lighting levels in stores, concern that by diminishing any form of lux levels, sales will fall. It could be data centres, whereby the data centres holding all the PC equipment are kept at very, very low temperatures, despite the fact they're not needed to be kept so cold, but it's a fear that the business could have a problem for changing it. It could be health and safety rules in warehousing, concern that again, lighting levels could create accidents, which are all complete myths and without reality and often have no evidence backing them, but mean the business struggles to get themselves off the ground.
And I mean, obviously with food retail, they do have to be kept chilled or to certain, I mean, there are certain things you've got to work within, are they?
One of the issues we face with food retailers is the chilling of refrigeration of food production. With food production, you've obviously got to keep a nice cool temperature, and there's a fear that if you gradually change the temperature settings, you could allow food growth or bacteria to form. Now, working with several businesses in this area, we've discovered that actually temperature variation for refrigeration is generally flat, whereas staffing levels will vary during the day depending on their productivity. Now, staff are warming the environment. Refrigeration is cooling the environment, yet the refrigeration isn't working in conjunction with staff levels. So if staff drop, and there are less of them in the building, you don't need as much refrigeration to keep the same temperature. And just by starting to map them together, we've worked with companies that made significant savings simply by playing with that small tool.
Do you think that the government has provided the right framework for supporting a low carbon economy?
From the government's perspective, businesses need clarity. They need an easy framework for which they know is going to stick. But by and large, politics changes too frequently. And the problem we have for the UK, although all political parties are have the same agenda, how they deliver it is very different. So recent changes to the carbon reduction commitment, the CRC, and the feed-in tariff have only confused people and made them delay many of the activities that they otherwise could have taken on board. Businesses are really trying, but they find the government legislation actually holds them up and confuses them in terms of what to do.
Now, do you think with the transition to a low carbon economy, there is a demand for a new skill set?
A new skill set's really required in the industry, especially for a lot of businesses in the CRC. Most of the companies in that scheme don't have a dedicated energy manager. It may be a production director or facilities manager. And those people's skill set is predominantly engineering or property based. And many energy efficiency activities involve engagement. It's about how to sell a message, how to get a company clear about its strategy. So the skill set's really required about how we can engage and communicate and sell and endorse and empower people rather than simply what to buy and what to install.
So we're sort of inventing a new role, it's a new discipline.
We are. I mean, it's what referred to as a new frontier for energy managers. I mean, most energy managers today are engineers, and that's fine. And that's where they've come from. And up until now, they've focused on buying and installing. But the challenge on them is how they can then take that on board and how to engage. Of course, for most energy managers, the saving is through the actions of their staff, not the investments made by themselves. They can make the investments, but they're only achieved if staff buy into them.
And how do sustainable buildings and sustainable cities reduce carbon emissions?
Well, carbon emissions in buildings is one of the greatest percentages of consumption. So clearly having sustainable businesses is a right strategy and help us start to reduce our energy consumption and our carbon footprint. However, the problem we have is people will they behave in a new way within these new buildings? Will they start to reduce energy or just consume more? So take, for example, pumping of your walls today. Many people have had their walls pumped and their houses improved and they made their house more sustainable. But how many people have actually saved energy, or they just enjoy the fact that the house is a nice warm temperature? Same for central heating. How many people actually turn it down, or the hot water turn it down? So whatever we build or however we construct, we've still got to educate. And that's only has to be done with the construction.
Well, Hayden Young, thank you very much.
Thank you.